Alright, so I'm here in my garden. I'm on Vancouver Island and it's a pretty stormy, rainy, windy day today. I'm just heading out to dump my compost, so I thought I'd bring you along and we do a little garden tour today and see how things are going here in the garden. Come on, Jasper. There's my puppy. Come on, puppy. All right, so this is the garden right now. It's getting completely covered in maple leaves, as you can see. This big tree up here is losing all its leaves right onto my raised garden beds, which is totally fine by me because it provides a nice mulch and an insulator through the fall and winter months. If you don't insulate your beds or mulch them up with something like leaves, you risk the rain leaching all the nutrients out of your soil, so try to avoid that. So anyways, these leaves are really good for the garden beds. But as you can see, I still have quite a few things in the garden beds here. I've got strawberries, which are even still producing, I think, some little strawberries there. Maybe not anymore, but there was, okay, well there's some that were, those probably won't mature anymore, but there was red strawberries up until a few days ago. I do have some kale that will overwinter in here. I've got some mint, some more strawberries. Oh yeah, strawberries are starting to rot. This is some purple sprouting broccoli, which will be ready in the springtime. I do have some carrots in the bed over here, some more kale. But over here, this is a bigger garden area. So I've got some greens here, which are just older broccoli and Brussels sprout plants, which I'll be feeding to the chickens through the winter. I have some herbs, like some rosemary and some parsley mixed in with all these kale and broccoli plants. Let's make our way over to the compost. But I have scarlet runner beans that are still on the vines here, and you can see they're absolutely huge. Well, those ones, yeah, they're pretty big. So these are going to be for seed for next year. I think this one is quite big there. Oh yeah, that's a long one. So anyways, these scarlet runner beans I'm going to be harvesting in the next probably few days, and I will be saving those seeds for planting next year. And I also have some turnips over here that I can start harvesting. A few of them are big. Oh, there's a nice big one. So I'll be able to harvest some of these quite soon. And I have been harvesting some carrots, but they're quite small still. I do have some baby carrots under in here, so I could probably take some of those out soon. I have a lot of purple cabbage and I have green cabbage, and the heads haven't really formed very big yet. They're still quite small, so I will just leave these over the winter and see. Either they'll be chicken feed or maybe they will grow all winter if we don't get super cold here. We'll see. Same with the green cabbage. These ones are really eaten up by the cabbage moth worms. So that's what all of this leaf damage is here, which is unfortunate, but again, I can feed all this to our chickens all winter long, so not all has been lost. But you can see the heads are still quite small, so we'll see how they do over the winter. And then I've got broccoli over here in the garden still. I did have broccoli last night with our supper, but there's some little florets on here still growing, so I'll probably be harvesting some more before winter comes. This is my garlic bed, which I just planted a few days ago. I do have some videos on YouTube of how I planted this garlic and what types I planted and everything. So there's our compost pile. I'm gonna dump my nice compost in there. So what I do with this compost pile is basically just keep adding to it over the whole fall and winter season, and then come springtime I'll start tossing it, and then hopefully by summertime it should be ready. If all goes well, maybe it'll be ready to use in some of the garden beds, but we'll see. I did add some of the chicken bedding, the older chicken bedding from our chicken coop in there, which is awesome for nutrients, so that will be composting all winter. And I still have to harvest potatoes. So I do have potatoes over in this bed here. You can see there's some little babies on top. There are some bigger ones still underneath, so I want to get those out of the ground before it gets really cold, because I don't think they would freeze too well over the winter in there. This fig tree here still has figs on it, but unfortunately they never matured to the point of getting ripe. So it's unfortunate. I'm not sure why that was, but it's still a fairly young tree, and maybe it was just due to the weather. Maybe it was too cold in the spring. Maybe it didn't get hot enough in the summer. Not entirely sure. Oh yum, I still have some raspberries over here. These are pretty new raspberry bushes, but these are autumn bearing raspberries. And you can see there's still a few berries on there. I had some last week that were really ripe and delicious. These ones aren't ripe yet, so I'll leave those be. I have another one over there. I have 3 raspberries, a loganberry, and I bought this Nanking cherry in Alberta in August when we were there, because we are from Alberta, and I loved growing Nanking cherries there, so I thought I would try growing one here out on the west coast, and we'll see how it does. It's more of a prairie plant, but you never know, maybe it will do well here too. I have an apple tree here too. This is a dwarf gala apple, which is fairly young, so maybe we will get apples next summer. So I've got some lettuce in here. I've got some young Brussels sprout plants, some collards, some Savoy cabbage, some dinosaur kale. So those are all like young plants that we will hopefully keep into the spring. I did plant some asparagus in here not too long ago, so hopefully in the springtime this little asparagus bed will shoot up. These are my leeks that I planted earlier in the year, so you can see that those are not that big yet, so we'll probably keep those in and harvest them next spring or even later next summer. We'll see how long it takes them to get to a good size. Wow, I've got a lot of Siberian kale here. This stuff is delicious. Can make kale chips, but it's really good for just stir frying with some veggies. It's really good. Chickens love it also. So there's some flat leaf parsley and some rosemary. There are some parsley seeds here I can probably collect and dry out inside. And that is some more sprouting broccoli right there. The beets did not do anything this year. So unfortunately my beets are very, very tiny. I don't think they're going to do anything. That's some celery there that is not that mature yet either, so maybe we'll overwinter that. There's some Brussels sprouts under there. This is an older plant from last year, but I'm going to be feeding all this to the chickens. There's not really any sprouts that are big enough for harvesting on these anyway. So all in all, still some work to do out here in the garden, and gotta get all that done soon because it is getting colder, it's getting rainy, It's getting windier, so it's not going to be as much fun to be out in the garden pretty soon. So that's it for today. Thanks for joining me.